and struggle to make your memades work together, then sew a mini capsule wardrobe is going to be the solution. I've created my mini Sezane inspired collection that works together and fits into my wardrobe perfectly. And you can too. To find out how I chose my garments, give my Sezane vlog a watch, but today is the big reveal. Gemini Stitcher and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is all about my journey in making and creating my Sezane inspired capsule wardrobe. I'm wearing, and Rita is wearing, all the garments that are in the collection, but I will be doing a little catwalk at the end, so stick around for that and then you can see how they all work together a little bit better. So, Sezane inspired. I went online, looked at Sezane and chose 5 garments that I lusted after but didn't like the price tag of. So, popping up will be the 5 garments that I chose from Sezane. And we'll run through them together, and then I'm going to run through my me makes and the patterns, etc. The first garment that I found on Sezane was a beautiful jacket with kangaroo pockets, and this is the jacket here that I made. The second garment was a blouse with a ruffle collar. Now the Sezane one was a plain white blouse. I've done my own twist on it and gone for patterned. The third garment was a cardigan, and I know it's not sewing, I do knit as well, so I knitted a cardigan. Garment number 4 was a dress, and we've got the dress here under the jacket. The last garment was a pair of trousers. I have got them on. You can't see them very well, but you will see them better in the catwalk at the end. So they're the garments from Sezane. What patterns did I choose for my collection? The first garment in my Sezane capsule collection is the jacket. There's the Sezane jacket, and this is the one that I made. It is the Dandelion jacket from MAISON FAUVE. The only alterations I've made to this jacket is shortened the sleeves by about 3 inches. I've left the shoulders as they are and the length as it is. Now this jacket comes with 3 pocket options. So I've chosen the kangaroo pocket because it matches in with the one that I found on Sezane. The other thing that I've done that isn't in the pattern is I've put piping down the front pocket along the edge of the kangaroo pockets and also along the back. It's, I would say, an intermediate make. It's certainly not beginner. And if you've never made a jacket before, possibly not the one to try first. But the MAISON FAUVE pattern instructions can be a little bit difficult to follow in parts because it's translated from French to English, but they do sew-alongs for their patterns. Now they are in French, but if you turn the sound off and just follow the images, you're good to go. So yeah, Dandelion jacket. The fabric I got from FabWorks, and it's their Yorkshire 100% wool, and it's the large chevron design. So there's the jacket. Gonna wear it loads, so let's give it some scores on the doors. What do I give the pattern? For sizing, I give it 5 out of 5. I followed the sizing on the pattern, and MAISON FAUVE don't give you the finished garment measurements, they just give you the sizing. But it's pretty good. I followed my sizing on the pattern envelope and it's come out true to size. So even though there aren't finished garment measurements, I'm going to give them 5. What do I give the pattern for the instructions? And as I've already said, MAISON FAUVE is a French pattern company which translates into English. Sometimes the diagrams aren't very clear, so I'm going to give them a 3.5 for the pattern, simply because if you've never done a jacket before, it is a bit of a head scratcher. So the third score on the door is going to be garment wearability and will I make it again? So this garment slots really well into my Sezane collection and is an everyday workhorse of a jacket in pure wool, lovely and warm but lightweight, perfect for driving in the car because you don't want the bulk. So I am going to give it a 5 for wearability. And will I make it again? Yes, I will. I've already made one last summer. This is the second one I've made. This pattern will get used again in the future. The next garment we're going to chat about is the Francesca blouse from Style Art Patterns. It is a ruffle neck blouse, semi-fitted. It has darts in the front and darts in the back as well. Sleeves on this blouse have a little cuff on them, but you can see from mine I've changed mine out. So I made a size 12. It's come out the perfect size for me. So what alterations did I make to the Francesca? I left it the length that the blouse was because I wanted to tuck it into my trousers, and it's the perfect length for doing that. I changed the sleeves out for a different pattern, and I'll put the details of that pattern below. This sleeve has got lots of little pleats put into the bottom, and it creates a ruffle effect, which I thought went really well with the ruffle on the neckband. And speaking of the ruffle, I had a bit of a nightmare with this because I made it up as the instructions. It doesn't say put any interfacing in, so I just thought, no, it'll be nice and floaty, and I didn't put it in, but it did not work. The back stands up nicely now, and it wasn't, it was just folding over like a normal collar, not the look I was looking for. So I then had to unpick it where the ruffle was, take the facing off the inside, put lightweight woven interfacing into the whole of the ruffle, regathered it and put it back on, and now I'm really happy with it. It stands up at the back, stays where it's meant to be, and does what I thought it was going to do. So that's my only real criticism with this pattern. They don't tell you to put interfacing in the ruffle, and now when I think about it, it's pretty obvious really, isn't it, if you want it to stand up. The other thing that I've done is I've put a little press stud there because that's where the buttons finish, and that is extremely low on me. So I've put a little press stud there, and if I will make this blouse again because I think it's stunning, I will raise the V at the front on the front pieces. So I'll measure from where it is to where I want it to be, probably shorten the ruffle, or actually it'll just be a bit more ruffled, it won't make any difference. And then I'll have to add an extra button in on the front, and then the ruffle will finish there. So yeah, that's the only other criticism of it. But I love the blouse, love the fabric. Got this from Bornella Fabrics, and if they've still got it, as with the jacket, if they've still got the fabric in, I'll pop the links in the details below. So let's do some scores on the doors for the Francesca. The pattern sizing. Happy with the pattern sizing. Did what it said on the tin. Size 12 is a size that I always use for style art patterns. So I'm going to give the sizing a 5 because it fits perfectly. What about the pattern instructions? Well, this is where style art fall down, isn't it? Their pattern instructions are not very good and certainly not good for beginner sewers. But as an experienced sewer, I didn't have a problem with them. So the instructions are scant, so I'm going to give them 3 out of 5 for their instructions. What's the third thing? So number 3, wearability, and will I make it again? I think it's a really smart blouse. Not something I would use for everyday wear in this style, but I think in a cotton, it would look absolutely stunning. And I've got some white cotton with a little silver thread through that I've got my eye on to make another one of these. So yeah, a dressy sort of smart blouse. You can dress it down, wear it with jeans, or you can smarten it up, wear it with a skirt or some velvet trousers. So it's a good all-round shirt pattern, I think. So I am going to give the wearability a 5 because I absolutely love it. Now I've got it to fit right with the ruffle. This beautiful, super snuggly cardigan that I've made. Now I got the pattern. It's not like the Sezane pattern. It's not like the Sezane cardigan. I sort of deviated because I couldn't find one with the same cable pattern in, but when I saw this pattern, it was on Etsy, there's an image of it, and it's been done in like a summer cotton yarn and looks completely different to mine. But I've done mine in Stylecraft Colour Vibe yarn, and wowzer, look at the colours in that baby. To say I love this cardigan is an understatement. I absolutely love it to bits. So let's talk about this. It's a knitted pattern, so if you're looking for sewing guidance, whiz past this bit. I won't be offended. But this is a knitted pattern, and it's got a cable pattern in it that's a leaf design and a twisted cable as well at the side. It's a chunky yarn, so it knits up fairly quickly. There's a lot of rows to the pattern to follow, so I would say it's probably an intermediate to advanced knitter, not for a beginner. But it knits up quick because it's in chunky yarn. The things that I changed on the pattern, I made the rib at the bottom. It was a very narrow rib on the pattern, so I made mine about twice the depth and just left it the length that it was meant to be. And apart from that, I haven't altered anything on the pattern. So yeah, really, really love this pattern. So let's do some scores on the doors. Let's look at the sizing. I did the size 3, the third size up, which fit my body measurements, and it's come out a good size. I've got to say, when I was knitting it, I thought it was going to come out a bit snug, but now it's done. I'm absolutely pleased with the fit. So 5 out of 5 for sizing. Number 2, pattern instructions. This is a knitting pattern, so if you're not a knitter, you would look at the instructions and think, what the flipping heck are they talking about? But as a knitter, if you're an intermediate knitter, you'll be fine with the instructions. Very detailed, very easy to follow. So 5 out of 5 for instructions. Wearability. Well, I've worn this cardigan to death. I made it about a month ago, and yeah, we've got a really cold spell in the UK at the moment, and this is coming into its own. It's a chunky yarn and it is super, super snuggly. So another 5 out of 5 for wearability. So this has done the best so far in my Sezane collection. Love this cardigan to bits. Next up is the dress, and I couldn't have got a better match to the Sezane dress than the Carly dress by Sew Over It, and you'll see from the little image of the Sezane dress how well this matches. I made up a size 12 and it is the perfect fit for me. Now the Carly dress has a collar and placket detail. You can have it with or without buttons, and I've made another one without the buttons and love that one too. It can also be a top, and I have plans to make one of the tops as well for the spring in my spring wardrobe. So what alterations did I make to the Carly? Now the Sezane dress had a lot longer placket than the Carly. So I've lengthened the placket by a good 6 inches, and that's fairly easy to do, and just added more buttons in because I wanted it more like the Sezane dress, and I'm happy with the finish of it now. The other thing I did was shorten the sleeves, my standard thing being a midget, by a good 3 inches, and that's an easy thing to do. And then the length, I took a couple of inches off was all, because I wanted it 3/4 length, and there's a split in the back as well, so easy for walking. You're not going to be doing mortish or shuffling along. It's really, really well thought out pattern. So shall we put some scores on the doors for the Carly? What about the sizing? As I said, I did the size 12 out of the packet. A narrow shoulder adjustment. I'm happy with where it is. I made the alteration in the placket, but that was a personal choice because I wanted it to be like the Sezane one. And the sizing is pretty good, I would say. So I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 for sizing. What about the pattern instructions? Now, Sew Over It pattern instructions, they're okay. They're not, I would say, beginner friendly. They don't go into great detail, but you get what you need from the pattern, in my opinion. So I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 just because it's not beginner friendly in parts. So wearability. Now this is where this dress comes into its own, in my opinion. This has been made in a cotton, heavyweight cotton stretch fabric from Minerva, and it can be layered with tights and boots with the cardigan on the top in the winter, wear it on its own in the spring and autumn. So wearability is brilliant for this. You could make this in a thicker ponte, you could make it in a knit fabric. If you can find a nice knit fabric, let me know, because I'd love to make one in a proper knitted fabric, if that makes sense. So yeah, wearability, 5 out of 5. So there we go. There's only one item left, and that is the Quinn trousers. I'm wearing the Quinns, I've zoomed out, but because they're in a dark mossy green brownie colour, can't really see them very well, I'm sorry. Now, the Quinns matched the Sezane trousers perfectly because they've got the side openings with the button detail on. I'll pop an image of it up there because you'll see it better than mine. So what did I think of the Quinns? I've never done a Merchant and Mills pattern before. I did a size 12 out of the packet, just shortened the length. I shortened the crotch area by about an inch, and then I shortened the leg length by a good 5 inches because I'm a 5-foot midget. But that's standard alterations for me. I always have to shorten the crotch and I always have to shorten the length in trousers. So I'm okay with that. It's just what I have to do. The size range of the Quinns is from a 6 to an 18 in the pattern that I got. They may do a bigger size range as well. I did the 12. It was a good fit, but I tried them on before I put the waistband on and it just felt a little bit loose in the waist area, so I literally just cinched it in a little bit at the centre front and centre back crotch near the top, and that was the only thing I needed to alter. It was great round the bum area and the hips were a perfect fit. So yeah, the instructions for these were very good considering it's not the most straightforward of make because of all the detail that you have to follow in the instructions for doing these side openings. But apart from that, they are quite a straightforward make. Now, I cheated with mine and I didn't put the welt pockets on the back or the buckle. The reason I didn't put them on is I don't like welt pockets on my bum. It's big enough as it is without putting things on there to emphasise the fact that I've got a generous derriere. Will I make the Quinns again? Absolutely I will. I'm planning on making some in a linen or denim, chambray maybe, for the summer. So yeah, definitely another pair of Quinns on the radar for my makes. So shall we give the Quinns some scores on the doors? Sizing. I've got to say, I was worried about the sizing on the Quinns because I had read somewhere, I think on Instagram ages ago, that they were generous sizes, but I thought it's easier to make them smaller than it is to make them bigger. They're too small, aren't they? So I stuck with the size that they recommended for my measurements, which was 12. And as I said, they were just slightly too big on the waist, and that was the only thing that was wrong with them. So I'm going to give them 4.5 just because of that. Is that me being me? 4.5 for the sizing. What about the pattern instructions? Now, the pattern instructions are very detailed, but they are a bit of a head scratcher just because of the process that you've got to go through making these side pockets. Openings here and the pockets, it's all done before you even start putting the pants together. So the instructions, when I had to read through them 3 or 4 times to get them straight in my head. So for that reason alone, I'm going to give them 4.5. And then wearability. These are a stonkingly good workhorse pair of trousers with beautiful design details in the side. If you hate doing fly zips, then these are the trousers for you. They are a wide leg, but they're not hugely wide, and you'll see that when I do my little catwalk at the end, hopefully. So I'm going to give them 5 out of 5 because as I've already said, I am definitely going to make another pair of Quinns for my spring-summer wardrobe. So there we go. They're my 5 garments. I hope you've enjoyed my journey and talking about my experience of making a capsule wardrobe. If you want to see what was my inspiration before I actually started making, then I'll pop the link to my Sezane inspired mini capsule collection there. Go and give that one a watch, and then you'll have the full story. Hope you've enjoyed. I'm going to set up now for my catwalk, and then I will see you next Monday for my weekly MAISON plans. Take care, everyone. Happy sewing. Love you loads.